Hello everybody. I thought I'd share some ideas with you, some different sort of creative techniques I use with young people. Now obviously I use What's Your Strength a lot, but there's other things that I always have up my sleeve as well to get young people engaged in sessions with me. Now one of my favourite things of all is post-it notes and felt tip pens. The more colourful the better. It's amazing how you can engage a young person by simply saying, choose your favourite colour, and using that in the session. It always works, it works wonders. But I'm going to tell you how I use post-it notes today to help particularly with decision making and helping young people order their thoughts and sort of maybe get to their gut instinct more quickly. Now, the thing that I love about these activities is that they're quick, they're easy, and they're engaging to the young people. So a couple of examples. So there was a young woman I was working with who was absolutely torn between two things at college. So whether to do catering or whether to do sport. Now she'd been lots of open days, she'd researched, and she just got to this point where she was stuck and couldn't get beyond it. So what we did is we wrote them down on post-it notes, and I scrunched them up, wiggled them around and handed her my fist and said, go on, choose one. When she opened hers, she chose the sports one, and she could not hide her disappointment as I was holding this in my hand, and she just immediately said, but I love working with food much more than sport. I want what you've got in your hand. And it was just this aha moment of, I know what I want to do. And it was literally, it took a matter of seconds. Now, it doesn't always work like that, but in her case, it really was that penny drop moment of, I know what I want to do. It got to her gut instinct immediately and as powerfully as that. Now, with a different young person, did almost exactly the same thing, but this time it was about A-level subjects. So in his case, he'd been thinking about biology and chemistry. He's very good at both of them. And again, we did exactly the same activity, handed them, and he selected biology. And he seemed okay, and he said, yeah, I'm okay with that. So I sort of reflected back and said, you seem a little bit doubtful in your tone of voice. And he said, well, I know I'd be okay with biology, I'm good at it, but I know I prefer what's in your hand. So then I said, well, what are you now thinking then? What's that made you think? And he then responded with, well, I now know what my gut instinct's telling me. He understood what the activity was all about and what it was trying to achieve, but he took it that step further and said, well, my gut instinct is saying that I want to do chemistry, but I know I've got more research to do. So I'm going to go and find out and speak to both of the A-level teachers, find out a bit more about both of the courses and see if my gut instinct is right. But again, it was just getting to that gut instinct really, really quickly and really powerfully. Now, sometimes I use the same kind of thing, but to rank ideas. And got this behind me to show you what I mean. So there was one young person who was quite stuck between different job ideas. So he'd been thinking about his three things. So we had them on the table. And to start with, we'd literally just wrote the names of the jobs he was interested in and just left it at that. And he ranked them in order of preference of 1, 2, 3. And we realised quite quickly that he needed some more information about each of them. So we went and did a little bit of research together and wrote down the things he liked on each one and the things he didn't like on each one. Now at that point, he started to re-rank them and he moved the physical movement. Oh, one of them's fallen on the floor. The physical movement really helped him start to visualise his options. And very, very quickly, he started to actually pick some of them up and go, actually that one's not quite right, and moved it aside. So actually just that process of ranking really, really helped. And similarly, I did something with a young woman who was choosing her A-level subjects this time. And we wrote down the A-level subjects she was particularly interested in at the top, first of all. We just literally had the word on. Then she had a few sort of questions and concerns. So we found out the information underneath. And again, she started to move them around. And all of a sudden, she picked up one of them and she literally screwed it up in front of my eyes and went, I don't want that one. I know I don't want that one. So then it was down to just the 4. So we were then able to move them around, explore them a little bit further. And by the end of the session, she actually felt confident she'd chosen the right 3. But it was just really nice to be able to sort of go through that process. And I think she said at one point, oh, I can see what my options are now. And physically be able to look down on the table and look at what they're doing can just be really, really helpful. So that's just a few little stories. I'm sure I'll come back again at some point and tell you some other little anecdotes. But that's it for today. So have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.